I do have some criticisms for this movie. I do think it was decent enough, but they retcon like a lot of things. And they constantly make fun of the 80s as if Chucky was made in the 80s. The first movie was made in 1988. Sure, that is the 80s. But that's just one movie. His other two movies were in the 90s. So why are they acting like he's just an 80s villain and that's it? It's very weird. Some of the CGI has aged. It's not the greatest. There's like at least 3 scenes with bad CGI. Most of them are kills, but there's one that isn't the greatest, with Chucky like crawling. Does not look the greatest. Um, what else? Oh yeah, they retcon the fact of Child's Play 2. Child's Play 2, we see how Chucky is made. We see the naked doll, to say the least. And let's just say he doesn't, have parts. Um, he doesn't have anything because he's a child's doll. He's not supposed to have a penis. But in this movie, they're like, oh my god, they gotta make this joke about him being atomically correct. So then him and Tiffany have sex. It's stupid. Honestly, if they wanted to do something like that, I think they should have just had it happen after Chucky is starting to turn human. That's always been something that happens in the movie. Once they start turning human, like they bleed and they feel stuff, they get injured. So I think maybe him growing a dick once he starts to become human would be at least a little bit less ridiculous than them pretending he's always had one. Because this does sort of follow the original movies, so it's not like it's a reboot. It has nothing to do with the other ones. Um, they also do have, I think, this fun joke about that they referenced the first movie with, where he's trying to decide what to kill this dude with, and we see a hammer, which is his first kill in the first movie. He killed the girl with a toy hammer. So I think that was a cool reference. Definitely wasn't the best movie though. Chucky gets even more sexist in this movie, which I'm not a huge fan of. I've always thought that Chucky just was an asshole. His first appearance in Child's Play 1, when a girl threatened to kill him, he calls her a slut, but it just feels like Chucky being an asshole. But it feels like throughout the series, they turned him being an asshole into just him being a sexist, which doesn't completely ruin anything. Because, it's a killer doll. You're not supposed to like him. But, I still think it's stupid. We gotta make him sexist. I always just assumed he was supposed to be an asshole character. But it went from being an asshole to just hating women. So, it makes it so you want to almost always root for the other people. So I guess that kind of works. So people don't have to, you know, do too much character development. You'll just be rooting for the other characters more than you would Chucky. The only other thing I didn't like, actually, there's two more. Was that they completely pretend that Chucky's always had a girlfriend. They try and say before he died that in the very first movie that he had Tiffany. They've always been dating. It's very weird. Like, they don't really explain it. They're just like, yep, he's always been dating her. but it was before he died, since, obviously when he died, he didn't have a girl with him, so it's a very weird retcon. Second thing is, there is a Gary character in this movie. He's decently portrayed, besides the fact that he's mostly a stereotype. Like, he has his left ear pierced. He doesn't do something that's considered manly. Like, instead of, doing something like football, he does ice figure skating or whatever. He's just clearly a stereotype. I didn't like that about him, but I think it was a decent enough character before he got killed in an awful CGI scene. And yeah, I guess that's about it. Hopefully, Seed of Chucky is better. Speaking of which, I actually do need to talk about that. The movie ends with Tiffany giving birth to a child, which is very weird. Because, it's not like it's been 9 months. It's probably been like a day or two. How has she had a child already? It's very weird. Not to mention the fact that Chucky stabbed her in the stomach. I don't get how she had a child. But the movie ends with, I'm pretty sure, her dying. Like, she dies during childbirth. But she's still alive in the next movie. Obviously. I haven't watched it yet, though. But she's on the cover, so. Not to mention, she's clearly a big part of the movie. But her eyes close after she's given birth. So it's kind of weird. And then once she gives birth, that character attacks the cop, and the movie just ends. Kind of a cliche ending. And they actually didn't do anything with Chucky's child until 6 years later, I think. Yeah, 6 years later, because this movie came out in 1998. And Seed of Chucky didn't come out until 2004. So, definitely a very delayed thing, to say the least. But yeah, that's about it.